In March, Fort Worth police told a judge this was a drug house.
I've been here a little over 20 years.
They got a search warrant requesting a no-knock raid. The warrant reads that officers would likely find narcotics, namely methamphetamines, and a no-knock warrant gave cops permission for forced entry with no warning.
We stood up. The police were already coming through our front door.
After the door was kicked in and a search completed, take a look at this empty box. Court documents read police didn't find drugs, guns, money, or anything else suspicious.
It was horrible.
Just Nelda Price in her nightgown and her husband John, both 69 years old. Not drug kingpins, not armed criminals, just two taxpayers terrified to make any sudden movements.
And I'm thinking, just be still, Daddy. Don't.
Nelda sued the city for excessive force, negligence, the violation of her rights, but mostly because John died weeks following the raid.
They take it away. I'm sorry.
According to the lawsuit, Price and her husband were put in flex cuffs, which look like zip ties, and were ordered to stay put on their front lawn. The suit reads that Fort Worth police officers guarded the Prices as other Fort Worth officers proceeded to ransack the residence.
They never said one reason as to why they were here.
Several hours passed, the lawsuit reads, and as time wore on, John Richard Price began feeling ill. At his age, he had issues with his blood pressure.
And I asked him, could they give Doug his medicine, because I could tell that his blood pressure was going up.
But despite numerous desperate pleas from Mrs. Price, Fort Worth police ignored their requests and continued their unlawful search, according to the lawsuit. Price says she didn't resist or act up, and her reasoning for that is something many black Americans can likely relate to.
He didn't get rude. We didn't, get out of line or anything with police, because being black, you don't get tough, I guess that's what you say.
An ambulance was eventually called and John was treated, but 53 days later, he died. Price told WFAA she feels the stress of the no-knock search contributed to John's death. The approved warrant reads that knocking would be futile, dangerous, or otherwise inhibit the investigation.
It's just totally unreal. It basically just seemed like it destroyed my life.
So why did this happen? What evidence did police have that made them think Nelda and her husband were engaged in crime? Price's attorney to this day doesn't know why, saying Fort Worth PD won't release that information to her. We also asked the same questions through a records request. No luck.
Police get training, and there are standards of conduct. Clearly, that wasn't met in this case.
Attorney Kay Van Way is representing Price on this case. She told us the only thing the city of Fort Worth has revealed is that officers had bad intel.
They obviously got it all wrong.
And that stands out to her. To get the green light for a no-knock raid, the department has to prove to a judge that the lives of officers will be in danger if surprise isn't on their side. Van Way wants to know what intel pointed to Nelda and her husband being so dangerous.
Unfortunately, John's not here. But look at Nelda versus 15, 20, 30 SWAT officers. Who was more in danger between the two of them?
Fort Worth PD is no stranger to headlines surrounding cases of excessive force, especially incidents involving black Americans.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Like a Tatiana Jefferson, who was shot in her own home during a welfare check. A death that sent shockwaves throughout the community and America alike. Van Way did offer this appraisal, however.
I believe that this would not have happened in a predominantly white, middle-class neighborhood in Fort Worth.
I, Neil Noakes.
I, Neil Noakes.
The department does have a new police chief, Neil Noakes, who told WFAA he believes in transparency.
One of the best predictors of the success of a relationship is trust. And the relationship we want to have with the community is one built on trust. To be able to have that, we have to be transparent.
Days after he was sworn in, Noakes declined to answer questions about Price, however.
I'm not able to comment on that because of the ongoing lawsuit right now. I apologize. When we can say more, we will.
But just because Nelda is suing doesn't mean Fort Worth Police is barred from talking about what happened or what went wrong. They could even show us the body camera footage taken during the search.
For us, no-knock warrants, you won't see very often. You have to put very very strict criteria to qualify for a no-knock warrant.
But the chief did not provide any specific details to support his assessment, and we still don't know why his officers were so adamant about a no-knock search of the Price home. We also asked the same question in multiple records requests. We even asked for the body camera footage. No reply. And you won't believe this. A judge recently denied Nelda the ability to interview city officials or gather evidence to support her suit. She may now turn to a federal civil court to plead her case.
It would look like a war zone.
Mike and Jack. WFAA has reported that Texas officers and cities have broad immunity or protections when it comes to repaying residents for any damage they may cause in a no-knock raid. Van Way isn't expecting a check for what little damage was done here. At the very least, she just wants the city to apologize to Price and correct whatever went wrong. But this haunts the 69-year-old the most.
If the police had just knocked on your door and asked to come in, would your life be different? Would John still be here?
I think so. If they had just knocked on the door and said, we need to do whatever it was they need to do, we wouldn't have had a problem.
You would have voluntarily let them in?
Yeah.
A simple knock, and perhaps a 51-year marriage continues. In Fort Worth, I'm Matt Howerton.